Ladies, gentlemen, welcome, faces, on in to another tier list. Today, it's Tuesday Tiers, everybody. Tuesday Tiers, yay! Anyways, this is for all of the Star Wars content that has been released, whether it's movies, TV shows, or that's really it, not the video games. We might go over that a little bit later, who knows. But the movies and the television shows. Now, I'm a bit of a Star Wars fanatic myself, right? I'm a little bit, just a little bit. I've seen every piece of Star Wars content that has come out, including, yes, the holiday special. I sat through all of it in college with my roommates. It was not a good time. I'm not going to front with you and say it was a fun experience. It was not a good time. But we did it to say that we could do it. And with that knowledge, I feel I've granted myself a little bit of a connoisseur title for Star Wars. One could even say that I'm a bit of a Star Wars aficionado, little bit. And so today, we're going to dive on into the main content of Star Wars, from the movies to the television shows, and we are going to decide definitively what the best Star Wars movies and TV shows are of all time. That's right, you heard it here first. If you like a Star Wars film, when we're going over it, try to convince me as to why it's the best, and I will tell you why it's not, because there's really only one answer that is the best here. There is only one fucking answer that is the best. Right here, right now. Let's decide it. All right, so this is our tier list. Now we go from Grandmaster to Council Member to Master to Knight, Padawan, and Youngling. Those are our tiers. That is how we are going to be grading these Star Wars movies. Maybe a few extra categories than we really need for the amount of actual Star Wars memorabilia that we have here. But regardless, that is how we're going to be grading it. The first one we have is Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Now, these are not going to go in any particular order. It does appear that they did Star Wars Empire Strikes Back as their first one. Maybe that's because the majority of people find that Star Wars Empire Strikes Back is their favorite. I don't know why. Let me show you a clip. A quick clip. A very quick clip from Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. And then you, the great people of Twitch, will be able to tell me why The Empire Strikes Back deserves the ranking it does. Let's take a look.
I love you.
I know.
And due to that reason, ladies and gentlemen, Empire Strikes Back goes in the Master tier. I will grant it the rank of Master. It is not the best Star Wars movie of all time. It is decent, but that fucking line makes me cringe every single time. Every time. It is Master tier. I don't care. I really don't. Moving on, we have Star Wars Episode 2. If we're gonna take a look at what Star Wars can be, right? We've got a lot of different areas that we can take a look at. We can take a look at the story progression, which is a basic hero's tale, right? We can look at the action. It's got some pretty good action in it. We can take a look at the progression of romance between, Padme and Anakin during these first three movies, the prequel trilogy, as they are called. There's a lot of different ways you can look at these movies, but if we're looking Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, we are talking full throttle, nuts to butts, Yoda action. My boy Yoda came in and said, no you. And then my man went nuts. Believe you me when I said the theater erupted. This is what I'm talking about. My man went full throttle, nuts to butts, Yoda on Dooku action. The theater was going crazy. But beyond that, we've got a lot of other things, right? We don't just have that scene, but it's got so much. And that is why Episode 2 goes in the Knight tier. It's fantastic. Star Wars Rebels. Now, admittedly, Star Wars Rebels was the first of the Disney animated series. It had a main character, Ezra Bridger, who might not be, super well liked by some, right? Maybe not the most exciting main character. It's kind of basic. I do like how he has kind of a blaster lightsaber combo. That's exciting. I think there was so much character development. The character progression adding on to the Clone Wars. Granted, you have to have kind of seen the Clone Wars animated series in order to really appreciate Rebels, but I think Rebels was fantastic. I definitely think it deserves Night tier. You can't tell me differently. It really, really does. Star Wars Resistance. Now, this was kind of Disney's way of capitalizing on their Star Wars fandom, and I do believe it belongs in the Youngling tier. I think Resistance is definitely one of the worst pieces of a movie slash TV show media that Star Wars has ever put out. Granted, it is again done by Disney, but I think that Rebels, as their first attempt at it, did a much, much better job than what Resistance did. I definitely think that Resistance had a lot of struggling points trying to build off of what Rebels left, what the original trilogy left, because Resistance takes place in between episodes 6 and 7, right? So you've got the Clone Wars that's in between 2 and 3, you've got Rebels in between 3 and 4, and then you've got Resistance in between 6 and 7. And I really believe that Resistance doesn't really deserve any hype. It's kind of trash. It's a struggle. You have to be a super Star Wars nerd in order to actually go into Resistance. Return of the Jedi! Widely regarded as one of the greatest Star Wars films of all time by fans and rabid critics alike, Return of the Jedi picks up where Empire Strikes Back leaves off. Of course, Luke now has his newfound powers. He's now a Jedi Knight. I don't believe he's a Jedi Master at this point, but he's learning about his powers. He's understanding how things work. And I think a lot of us can kind of agree that the Ewok scene was pretty trash. The entire Ewok storyline, the fact that they made us want to care about these Ewoks the whole time, every single time I get to the scene in Return of the Jedi where the Ewoks are roasting them over a fire, I'm just sitting there, I'm like, bro, this scene is so stupid. This scene is so stupid. And then C-3PO comes out as their god and Luke has to levitate him up. Bro, I'm losing my mind at that scene. I'm losing my fucking mind on that scene. And for that reason, Return of the Jedi is only in Night tier. You know what? I'll put it in Master, but I'm going to put it behind Empire. I think Empire is definitely higher. Star Wars Rogue One. I'm putting it in Padawan tier. It's meh. It's meh at best. Solo, a Star Wars story. Now, this is where we are going to get a little bit different, you and I, chat. You and I are probably going to differ on Solo, a Star Wars story. I thought Solo was a phenomenal fucking movie. Phenomenal. I think Aiden, I believe that's his name, Aiden, I think he did such an incredible job of capturing Han's essence in a younger, less mature form. Yeah, I thought Solo was a really good movie. I'm gonna put it high in Night tier. I think it was really, really good. It was a really good movie. Very, very solid. Holy shit, why did I think this was Empire? Chat, holy shit, this was the original Star Wars. All right, well, we're just gonna swap them out. Empire goes right where I said it was. The original Star Wars, Episode 4. I don't know why I thought this was Empire. Episode 4. Now, Star Wars Episode 4 was a phenomenal movie during its time. But if we're taking a look at this entirety of this series and we're trying to rank these movies in relation to each other, if this was a tier list about Star Wars along with all other movies released in the 70s and 80s, if this was a tier list about Star Wars and all other movies released around the same year, then Star Wars would be near the top. But if you rank A New Hope against everything else, it was a great single movie, and then George Lucas was like, sweet, we can make some fucking money off of this. And if you look at it in a vacuum of where it was released during its time, it's great, but if you don't, it's only Night tier. And I'm actually going to put it below Episode 2. It's only Night tier. Star Wars The Force Awakens. Pretty much the exact same movie as Star Wars Episode 4. I mean, it's literally the exact same movie, but a better storyline in terms of, I think the storyline itself. If you take out the actors, if you literally just put those two scripts on a table and you read through both of them, I think Force Awakens is a better script. The Mandalorian. Now, there are going to be some spoilers here for those of you who have not seen The Mandalorian. I'm not going to talk about the Season 2 finale of The Mandalorian. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about The Mandalorian as a whole. The Mandalorian goes for a job. The Mandalorian gets random shit that happens that prevents him from doing his job. The Mandalorian overcomes it and completes his job. Anyways, Mandalorian, Padawan tier. Better than Rogue One, but Padawan. Next up, Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker. Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker. Bye-bye. That's all I have to say about that. Next, Episode 1. I thought Cara Dune I didn't really care for the character, but I think her backstory and her whole shock trooper arc could have been explored a little bit more. Episode 1, Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. I have a feeling this is where y'all are gonna fucking just cut grounds with me. y'all are gonna cut grounds with me, but Star Wars Episode 1 was fucking fire. It's not as good as Empire, but it was fucking fire. All right, here we go. Ladies, gentlemen, this is where fucking bonds are broken. This is where literally my entire credibility as a streamer goes to shit. Star Wars The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie of all time. It is the absolute best motherfucking Star Wars movie of all time. I do not care what you say. I do not care. You can give me your reasons in the comments. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi is the best fucking movie of all time, and it's not even close. The Last Jedi, bro, this scene, let me just show you this scene real quick. I gotta show you this scene. This scene, in the theater, my jaw fucking dropped. I lost my mind. I lost my goddamn mind. Right here. Oh my god, I lost my mind. I was like, there's no shot. Because that's something I'd always wondered. Like, and everything that was building up here after this last scene that had already happened, this whole arc of the movie was a fucking masterpiece. Rian Johnson absolutely slayed this arc. Slayed this arc. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, also Grandmaster. Not quite as good as Last Jedi, but it's close. I said not even close on The Last Jedi. I'm sorry. Revenge of the Sith was incredible. Revenge of the Sith was... Star Wars The Clone Wars, the movie, was a solid movie. It introduced a new character, Ahsoka, but if you kind of put it in a vacuum, isolated, it's like Night tier. I would say it's below Rise of Skywalker. I would say it's probably below... It's decent. I'd put it above Force Awakens. I mean, not Rise of Skywalker, Force Awakens. I'd put it below Solo, though. Now we get to what is possibly the greatest piece of animated shit of all time. I'm going to attempt to make a case right here, right now, on why you should watch The Clone Wars and why it is the single greatest piece of Star Wars content of all time. Star Wars The Clone Wars, the animated series, dives into the prequels. As you all know, it's between episodes 2 and episodes 3. And when you look at the movie, episode 2 and episode 3, you don't think that maybe a lot happens between there. Like, the Clone Wars starts, and then you see, you know, Anakin is a Padawan, and then all of a sudden, okay, Anakin's a knight. So there was a little bit of growth that happened there, but you don't really know what that growth was like. Then we get to the villains. General Grievous, like we talked about, fleshed out in the Clone Wars so well. Grievous just, there's so many instances where you're just like, come on, get him, and you expect Grievous to go down, but he doesn't. And of course, you know he's not going to because he's in episode 3, but they just make it so good. They make Grievous have a personality. He doesn't have a personality in Revenge of the Sith. Anyways, this is the official, this is the official one. This is literally where it is. I'm going to post this on Twitter. I need you all to defend me in the comments, okay? By the way, !Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Like my shit. It's pog shit. All right? Of what a solid illustration does to a Pokemon, right? Charizard is a fire-flying type. Now, if you look at just Charmander or Charmeleon, they're really good in their first and second stages. When you add in flying to Charizard's typing, you automatically make him an incredibly weak Pokemon.